Welcome back to Twist of Fate, a small business podcast where you can find your inspiration to start your business or your small idea that can make your dreams come true. Now, I acknowledge it's tough times out there. Inflation's increasing, interest rates are increasing, and a lot of you are kind of thinking that, maybe it's time to downsize and kind of have less cost. Well, in my opinion, I think you should be thinking about home ownership. And in my opinion, I know you'll hear it's a buyer's market, it's a seller's market, but in my opinion, if you're going to create multi-generational wealth, you need home ownership. Hence the topic of today, where I brought my friend in, Frederick Adams, and we're gonna talk a little bit about home ownership, the challenges as an entrepreneur you may face, and even a little bit about personal finance. Frederick, my friend, welcome to Twist of Fate.
Douglas, good to be here. Thank you, my friend. It's an honor, a privilege. I feel blessed that you even contacted me. You've had some very distinguished guests on the show. I've been following the podcast. I've watched your growth, and I'm incredibly proud of where you are now and where you're going.
I appreciate that, and I reciprocate it. Yeah, you're a rock star yourself. So Frederick, for my listeners, why don't you tell them a little bit more about your business and what you're doing to help people. I was a first-time home buyer, you guys don't know, and Frederick helped solve that and made me really find my dream property. So we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, tell them more about your business.
Absolutely. So I'm a real estate agent and also a life insurance agent. Sometimes I have podcasts myself where people can learn about the benefits of having life insurance as well as being a home owner. As you indicated, it is definitely the path to wealth. And creating generational wealth, especially for minorities, they weren't quite advantageous to information as other ethnicities. So what I try to do is educate. That's the key, education. So I educate people on the benefits of home ownership. I educate people on why they should have life insurance. They look at life insurance like death insurance. That is absolutely not what it is. It is life insurance. Because if you pass, you want to be able to help your family move on, to pay the bills associated when you were alive, right? Mm-hmm. They have to be covered. The bills have to be covered. Someone's got to pay them, right? Unfortunately, we live in that kind of world where you got to pay bills.
Necessary evil.
Necessary evil. So that's what they do. And that's what I do.
You had made a point about multi-generational wealth,
yes,
which we talk about on the show a lot.
Yeah.
And you're right that I was guilty, I think, as a minority in my corporate life. I definitely dragged my feet on home ownership for a long time. And just so you guys listeners know, I think Frederick approached me where we were coworkers in a previous life. Yes. And you were really on me about buying a home. And I think it took me maybe 6 months or so.
It took a while.
So what was in your thought process at that time? Like when you it's kind of like you identify a person that in some way could benefit from it, but maybe they don't know yet the benefit.
You're absolutely correct. And when I saw you, I said, okay, Doug, you've got to become a homeowner, And I told you the benefits of why you needed to become a homeowner. I think you had some hesitancy in regards to how much money it was going to cost or if you were ready, right?
California real estate, just so you listeners, you guys don't know, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
So I saw some of the prices in Mountain View or there, and I felt it's like extortion. I'm like, right. Oh my God, why is one house $1 million? This doesn't make sense.
Right, I'm being robbed, and people feel like that. And where we connected, where we bonded is that I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Illinois. Mm-hmm. And so, we had that instant connection, it's like-minded people, and it was good when we met. And so I knew you just had to be in a home. It was no doubt in my mind, you had to be in a home. You need to stop renting because you're paying someone else's mortgage. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to do that when you can pay your own mortgage and create wealth for you and your family? And that's what it was all about. So I approach you just like I approach everyone else. I find out where they are in life, right? Find out where they are in life, and then educate. Just educate. I'm patient because I know that everyone's not for home ownership at that moment.
At that moment,
But doesn't mean no, it just means not right now, right? So we just wait, we put you in a position, I create plans for you so that you can get into the position of becoming a homeowner. And that's the first step. That's all you have to just make the plan. Just plant the seed. That's the first thing I want to do. Plant the seed, because not everyone has been in a renter mentality. Well, as you know, rents are going up incredibly high now, right?
Well, I don't know now because you made me a homeowner, but
you don't have to know that now. Right, that's good.
But I acknowledge it's an issue
that's
affecting everyone. Let me ask you this: so, like, I bought my home about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, we're talking about California real estate right now.
Yeah.
But you do real estate in other areas as well.
I do real estate all over the Bay Area. I belong to a network called the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. If I may plug them real quick, they are
from the listeners, I don't know. So.
Yeah, so the National Organization of Real Estate Property Brokers, they are an organization that was created in 1947 because African Americans were not allowed to become a member of the National Association of Realtors. So we created the Association of Real Estate Brokers, which, by the way, is celebrating their 75th anniversary in Tampa, Florida, where it all started.
When is that?
Started in 1947, and it's coming up on their 75th anniversary, August 3rd, in Tampa, Florida. So
are you going?
I won't be able to go, and I'm kind of upset, but unless something changes in my schedule, I'm unfortunately had other plans, but. Unless something changes, I will definitely go. I've been to others, and it's been a wonderful time, learning experience. We get to network with other realtors in the country, and that's where I
you can do
network
referrals.
And do referrals to people I trust and that I know will definitely provide you with the best experience as if it were me providing it for you.
Excellent. So then, it's a different time now than 5 years ago.
Yes.
So at that time, interest rates were low.
Yes.
Inventory was high.
Yes.
And in some ways, I would say even inflation wasn't a concern. So it was kind of like a golden time period.
Yes.
But it's a very different world now. So
yes.
I would love your views. Like, how do you feel a homeowner today is, or a person interested in becoming a homeowner, like, how should they be looking at the marketplace?
So I tell everyone, if you have the ability to purchase a home, regardless of the market, regardless of the conditions, unless of course you don't have the means to pay your mortgage, you just lost a job, which may happen, but you find ways.
It's a reality for a lot of people right now.
It is a reality. Inflation, is creeping up on us, I guess. We don't know. I don't have my crystal ball. But unemployment is higher now. People are losing jobs. Companies are moving out of state. We're seeing a lot of that, actually. A lot of companies are moving out of state and therefore laying off a lot of members that had good paying jobs. But
there is a possibility, even if you lost your job and you're a homeowner, I mean, you can rent it.
You have a safety net, absolutely.
Yeah, you can rent it, and then that can become income.
Exactly. And what the pandemic taught us, if nothing else, that there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there, right? There are a lot of people who didn't think about having a business who now have businesses.
This is true.
Right?
This is true.
And now you can use a portion of your home as a tax write-off for your business, for your home-based business, or use it as an office, whatever, right? Like I do.
No, so very good. So, and you're a financial planner, and I think it was episode 1 I shared that my father was a financial planner.
Yeah.
One of the things he taught, like, look, if you're going to get to true wealth,
yes,
there's the 3 asset classes. You have to understand, revenue, which most people think about is like make more money.
Right.
There's costs,
yes,
which in California you're not going to have much control over that.
No.
But then there's tax,
and
you just said it. And if you can, come up with tax strategies of how to use the tax codes,
yes,
to fit your way in life that can help you along the way.
Absolutely. Sure. Get a CPA. I tell all get
tax strategist, CPA.
Tax strategist, particularly a tax strategist. That's most important. That's a little bit different than a CPA, because a CPA, they just crunch the numbers for you, right? A tax strategist will tell you, look, why don't you do this, right? Let's do this. That way you get the benefit of this, and then you pay less of this, right? A strategist, and that's what you need. But
I think for anybody thinking, well, no. Personally, I think that's across the board. Like, throw TurboTax out. I agree. I think you need somebody that is an expert in these areas and a bookkeeper, because the idea is, especially when you move to home ownership, like interest rate deductions, there's just so many things you don't know.
Right, you don't know. And you don't know what you don't know. So, and you don't have time to go learn it as much as you may want to, right? You may want to be a one-man show where you do and know everything, but it doesn't really work that way.
Entrepreneurs do that.
We do. I did it, so, and I've had to learn a few things. That's why I watch Twist of Fate. I learn a lot.
So let me ask you, so related to being an entrepreneur and pursuing home ownership. Now, when I purchased my home, I was a W-2 corporate employee. As traditional lenders, I was Mr. Younger when I walked in. Whatever you want. But when you become an entrepreneur, self-employed, they definitely view you differently. Like, it's a different experience. Like, I don't know that I'm Mr. Younger anymore, right? So could you talk a little about, like, when you're self-employed, how getting a home, there's some obstacles. There's definitely some certain things, like the 2 years tax returns.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You hit it right on the head. Definitely as an entrepreneur trying to purchase a home, it's a different avenue. It's a different route. That's why I work with some preferred mortgage brokers. A mortgage broker can go out.
Yeah, what's a mortgage broker?
So a mortgage broker can go out and scour the playing field of people in financial institutions and find out what's best for your situation. They find out what's best for your situation, be it a big bank, which, big banks.
Yeah, they have certain compliance rules. They only have certain products they can do. It may not help with your customized situation.
That's correct. But there are a lot of financial institutions out there which you probably never even heard of, which are more creative and which look at less conditions that would be needed for you to purchase a home, right? But you want to definitely have a good credit score, right?
That's universal.
That's universal. Let's say that right off the top. No matter entrepreneur, W-2, you want to have great credit.
You don't want to challenge that?
What's that challenge?
A lot of entrepreneurs don't have good credit.
They don't, and they need.
And you know what? I think that's a public misconception, because in a lot of cases, when you start the business, if the business struggles,
you're feeding that credit card, man. You're
100%
swiping that bad
100%.
boy, no doubt about it. But you want to do your best to try and keep it paid. If nothing else, at least keep it paid. Try to pay a little bit more than the minimum. And if you're just scraping by, try to pay a little more than the minimum and be on time. Just create that history. You're going to start to get good credit. It takes a while. That's the other thing. Be patient with yourself. Because first of all, people don't know who you are or what you do. You've got to make it known who you are, what you do. You've got to get some clients so that then they can tell other people about who you are and what you do. And then it grows from there. It's a growth period. It's a process. It's a journey. Take your time. Don't beat yourself up. And yes, there will be some rough times. There will be some rough patches. I can attest to that. There will be some rough patches. Don't give up on yourself. Continue moving forward. So that would, if nothing else, that would be something that I would tell your listeners to keep in mind.
So this is great, Frederick. So mortgage brokers, which, you're right. I mean, even with my father as a financial planner, I wasn't aware of what a mortgage broker was even until I became an entrepreneur. Right. Now, there's also, in terms of interest rates or products offered.
Correct.
Do you have a different process if somebody is like a W-2 stable household person versus somebody that could be an entrepreneur? Like, do you prefer to keep it small? Like, hey, think condo or like townhome? Or?
So for me, it doesn't matter. I'm the agent. The lender, it doesn't matter to them either. They want you to provide them the documentation that they need to determine how much home you can afford, right? That's based on your DTI, debt to income ratio, right? Your FICO score, your income, how much money you have coming in, wherever it's from, right?
Yep.
They take all of that information and provide a pre-approval amount. I then go out and find the home based on that pre-approval amount and your comfortability level at that cost. Let's say you're worth $500,000, just to throw it out there, but your mortgage payments are going to be a little higher than you want them to be. Well, then we're going to drop down and look at homes in the 450 area, right?
Yep.
So that's how I look.
And you work out a lot of the or you encourage your clients to be aware of their financials before you even start looking at it.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. I want them to know, pull their credit report. That's another thing. Pull your credit report. You get a free credit report on annualcreditreport.com, if I'm not mistaken.
Most major banks also have like calculators and
They do.
Equifax, TransUnion.
Yes, yeah, but you want your
Experian.
actual credit report score, your FICO is what you want. So you get your FICO score, you pull your credit report, find out if there's any delinquencies, anything negative on it, and address them, get them addressed, right? Even student loans. Some people have come and said, hey, we got student loans. That's okay. Let's give all that information to the lender to determine what your amount of pre-approval is going to be, regardless. So don't kick yourself out of the game before you even get in it.
Sure,
That's another
sure,
thing.
sure.
A lot of people don't even realize that they have the ability to buy a home because they think that they are unable to do it.
No, I was one of them.
I
was one of them.
They think that they don't make enough money. They think that they have to have 20% down. You don't, right?
To your point, it depends on
depending on what you're
lending
looking
institution.
for.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
and the lending institution. Now, the mortgage broker, as I stated, they're like the banks. You go to the big bank, all they have available are those particular particular products for that bank. Whereas a lender, a broker, who's someone that can go to that bank or not, but they can go somewhere else, like a privatized lender, right?
And they can customize
Yes.
for your situation. Like I have a lot of military veteran listeners that have great VA benefits to buy a home.
Absolutely.
Like to me, if you're a veteran,
Yes.
you got to buy a home, right?
Got to buy a home.
Yeah, you got to do it.
And I'm a U.S. Navy vet.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Get out there and buy a home. Now, during the pandemic, for whatever reason, and I think it's lack of knowledge and education for the real estate agent, not knowing and not realizing VA loans are a great product for you to have, to be put in front of you as an offer. But they would overlook that for a conventional loan only because more money is being put down. What's the difference? The money is going to be the same at the end of the day, at the end of that transaction. So it takes a knowledgeable real estate agent to work with VA personnel. Give me a ring. Shameless plug. I'm sorry.
It's a true point. I mean, it's a true point. You have VA benefits, and therefore you can
utilize them.
Yeah,
Use
educate,
them.
right?
Educate. Yes.
And help people. Let me ask you another question.
Yes.
So when you're purchasing a home, I remember fondly where we started driving around.
Yeah.
And we started visiting places.
Yes.
And
resale. We started looking at just resale homes that were already built, had been lived in, where no matter how long a period of time had already been lived in. Yes.
So I think if I remember, you had me write down like 5 requirements of the home you wanted. I think it was like, me and my wife talked through this. So it was like, it had to be close to a school. We wanted a backyard.
Yep.
And I remember I was like, yeah, that's pretty high.
Yeah.
There was a certain number of bedrooms, a certain area, like location.
Yeah.
And I think the other one was, like whether it's new or whether it's a fixer-up or something like this. And you had us prioritize them, actually.
I did.
And I mean, we debated that until we blew it in the face. But then we got our criteria.
Yeah.
So then we went out. I'm curious for you, like so as we were going to different places, what were you looking for versus what I was looking for? Because I could tell you, I was ruthless. I was like, no. But were you?
And I was okay with that because what that does, that told me, okay, so this isn't going to work for Doug. Okay, in my mind, right? I'm strategizing here. You're saying no, and that's fine. I didn't mind that at all. okay, this isn't going to work and why. That was for me to figure out, right? And that's what I do with new clients, by the way, just so you know. I go through the same process with all of my buyers. Prioritize. Tell me what try to get to know them first. You know, we knew each other already, so that was a given. But for new clients that I don't know, I try to get to know them. I try to find out what their why is. What is their reason? You want to be a homeowner? Why? Right? And at the same time, I'm educating them, but at the same time, I'm listening. Right? I'm listening. I'm reading between the lines about who they are and what they are looking for. So with you, when you said no to certain ones, I said, okay, great. That tells me a lot, because some of the homes we were looking at, they didn't have the backyard. Right?
That was pretty consistent.
Yeah, it was consistent, right? Yeah. And I could tell the frustration level for that, right? And I could tell the frustration level with having to go to older homes that did have the lots. There was going to be some work.
There were some nice ones. You're right. There were some nice ones. But then I don't want to clean pipes.
Yeah.
I don't want to do all these things. Like, no way.
I don't want to put a new roof on. You know, I don't want to do any of that, right? I said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And there was a little bit of concern in regards to new construction. But I said, I'm going to take you anyway. I told myself, I'm going to take him anyway.
Why was there a concern in new construction?
For the new construction, my concern was, one, you get in there, they give you the base price, right? And I educated you on it before we went. You know, they're going to give you a base price, but they're going to try to feed you on all of these upgrades. Don't over-upgrade yourself to where at the end of the day, the cost of the home is well over your approved budget, right? So that was my only real concern. So once I found the construction company that I took you to, I guess I could.
Oh, we can say it's Toll Brothers.
Okay,
it was Toll Brothers. Yeah.
It's your
I'm
show.
very fond of them. You know, like it's Toll Brothers.
Toll Brothers, great builders, right? So took you there, man. He fell in love with the models. Of course, who wouldn't fall in love with those?
The model home was dynamite.
The models are bad, man.
It was dynamite. Dude, you know, this is actually a true story. So, you know, I'm glad Frederick brought this up. So Frederick and I went to a Toll Brothers location, and this model home was immaculate. Like, it was everything posh, modern, not very livable, actually not very comfortable, but it just looked right.
Looked good.
And we went up on the third floor balcony, and I said, see, here's the problem.
Yeah.
I look down here, and I'm so close to my neighbor that, I mean, they're clearly going to see me naked, so I didn't feel comfortable with that, right?
Right.
So we're up there talking.
Yeah.
And the agent, either she came up, talked to us.
She stayed downstairs.
She stayed downstairs,
Yes.
and then I was talking
and
like,
waited for us to come down.
that's right. So I said, so the backyard again.
Again.
It struck again.
Yeah.
And she came up. And true story.
Yes.
I believe what she was saying was her cousin, or it was like a family member, had experienced a car accident, and that had went through rehabilitation, and had walked again in an exoskeleton. And coincidentally, Frederick and I worked at a company that made a robotic exoskeleton.
That's correct.
So she actually said, I'm going to walk with me, or like we went down to the end of the street, and there was nothing there.
Nope.
It was completely flat.
Yep.
And she said, I'm going to give you the gift that you gave to my cousin, like Hope.
Yeah.
And if you can, I think she was saying, if you can get your paperwork and your down payment in like 7 days, I'm not going to put it on the open market.
That's correct. And the backyard, backyard was just what you were looking for. It was huge. There were no neighbors. It overlooked the valley.
It was unbelievable.
Perfect.
It was unbelievable. It was flat.
Flat. Yep.
And I guess I could say this. It just felt right.
There you go.
Like, I really can't explain it. It was just like, okay, this is it.
This is what I tell all of my clients. When you walk into that perfect home, you will feel it. You will know. And I watch people when they do it, because I go in, when I walk in with them, I watch their reaction. I can tell right away whether they love this house or not. And so, because I know the feeling. I've done it myself. I've had the feeling myself, so I know, right? And every one of my clients, all of them, when they walk into that one house, oh, this is it. And I know, this is it, and I'm gonna get it for you. And that's what we did for you.
And it was the dream home for us. I mean, Frederick, you guys don't know, but we're big boxing fans. And one thing I did do with that backyard, we built it up, and we've watched some great matches. Fight night.
Fight night.
Right? To any of you listening out there, if you don't know what fight night is, you haven't been over at my place. Like I cook.
Yes.
We hang out.
Very well too, believe it or not.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's
I
the
didn't
man.
pay him to say that.
This dude. We got to have you guys over for brunch so we can return the favor. So because this guy can cook.
This is true. So I one advantage of being a homeowner.
Yeah.
I was able to create an outdoor kitchen.
Yep.
And I smoke, deep fry, grill. I do sous vide.
Sous vide. Yep.
And I have a garden.
Love the sous vide.
So, there's benefits, guys. That's my comment. Is benefits of owning a home that, I wasn't really a handyman when I started, and I didn't really understand a lot of those things. Yeah. But as you know, like a home remodeling, I really got into that. Like we did a lot with the house. Mm-hmm. I think there's benefits. So I'm curious. You also talked about the financial planning part, and I think that's important, especially like, again, the multi-generational wealth. You got to make sure that your estate is set up for.
Absolutely.
You mentioned like a negative event, like death will happen eventually.
Yeah.
Father time is still number one. It'll get all of us eventually. So when is it a different process in financial planning, or is it when someone goes and purchases a home, you're already kind of looking at their financial well-being and you're already planting that seed? Like how does that conversation work?
Very good question. So yes, when I talk to my clients, I get the privilege of seeing their financial situations, right? But regardless of that, I let them know, look, and no matter what their financial situation, I tell them all the same thing. Put your home in a trust. Get your home in a trust in case, God forbid, something happens, one of you passes away. If you're married, one of you passes away, the state doesn't come in, put your house on probate, takes away all of the money that you have accumulated, that you worked for, and takes away from your family, right? So get it in a trust and create a will along with that. Not one or the other, do both.
So is wise lessons you're mentioning here.
Yes.
One question I have is, but like, to my listeners, like they may not know what a financial planner is, like kind of like a mortgage broker. Like maybe you can explain what is the craft of financial planning?
So I want to say a non-disclosure here, so or disclosure. I'm not in essence a financial planner. I am an insurance agent.
Got it.
That has abilities and products that help you to create wealth. Right? Because in typical financial planner is a one that has a C7 series license, right? And
which means they can do securities, they can trade securities.
Trade, right, all of that, bonds and everything. So no, I'm not a financial planner per se.
But you do recommend that
But
have
I
around,
recommend,
right?
I'm a generational wealth builder is what I am. Yeah.
But I think you agree though.
Yes.
Look, if you want to win,
absolutely,
financially, you're going to need all these people, right? You're going to need the mortgage broker, you're going to need the CPA, you're going to need the estate attorney, you're going to need the financial planner, you're going to need the insurance, and you're going to need the real estate. Like,
you're going to need it.
If you don't have those things, then
get it.
Yeah,
get it, and get it with people you trust, right? We have that trust, obviously. I
think that's an important point.
You got to build the trust with people, because when you're an entrepreneur, relationship is what it's all about. Relationships, right? And so to have those relationships, there's a level of trust that you have to have with your clients and your clients with you. And so to create that trust, you got to give them something to develop it, right? But you get that trust built up, and the resources that each of you has put together to develop a team, right? It takes a team to be an entrepreneur. It takes a team. You've got to have a great team, right? You've created some great teamwork with some of the people in your company. I love working with some of the
they hold me up, Frederick. In those
dark
days, they hold me up.
I bet, man.
That's a shout out to the 364 people. I love you guys.
But I want to go back to your home pre-pandemic, right? When the market was a little different, right? And it was a good time at that time. Timing is key too, man. I tell you, timing is key. It's incredible. So then the pandemic came, which was great for you because equity went just like this. And happy day, right?
It's crazy. I'm not talking about the extortion anymore, right?
Yeah, right.
Now suddenly I don't have any problems with it.
Exactly. But it was good timing. And then pandemic came, and for me as a real estate agent, it was good for me too. It was like, okay, look at all of these offers coming in, and
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So both of us had previous corporate lives.
Yep.
And both of us became entrepreneurs. What was the point where you decided that you wanted to do real estate and just that, and just focus on that?
That's a good question, Doug. So I got to tell you, I've always had it within me to be my own boss. And because
you owned property and stuff before, but there
did.
was definitely a change. Like there was a point where you're like, okay, I'm doing this.
Right, because I had my, when we were together, working together, I had my license at that time. And all of my coworkers were coming to me because they knew I was the real estate resource. And I was helping them purchase their homes. And I was at the same time developing my clientele base as well as my reputation, right? That's key, reputation is key. And so when you get in corporate life, you're subject to them saying, your services are no longer required, Mr. Younger.
It can happen.
Right?
It can happen. Like no shame, right? Like
Right.
it can happen.
And
it can happen to anybody.
And that's what happened to me. Mr. Adams, can we talk to you in the office? Uh-oh, here it comes. We already know what's coming. Yeah. Oh, yeah, your services will no longer be required. Well, why not? No real reason except the fact they can't control me anymore. They can't control me. Had no effect or bearing on my work because I'm very good. I have a particular set of skills. I have
no, but it's not something that's personal.
Right.
It's
not.
business.
It's business.
And business is business.
Yeah.
It can happen.
It can.
It can definitely be a blow to the ego.
Oh.
I can tell you, it was a blow to my ego when it happened to me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because you think, man, are you kidding? You really want to get rid of me? I'm the best thing going on around here, right? But it's at that point, the last time it happened to me, it was at that point I said, okay, thank you. Because it was in my spirit to want to leave, to be my own boss, to do my own thing. And that's exactly what I did and haven't looked back. And it's funny because I've had people call me, well, could you come back? No, I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go back to that. Even with all the headaches that I go through as an entrepreneur, I don't want to go back to that.
It's regressive. It's regressive.
It is. But now here's where my team, which is my wife, this is where a good team is paramount. Because she's our top-notch sales at her position, top #1 national sales. So she's bringing in income. Thank goodness for the time that I'm.
It took you some time to ramp up. Sure.
That's correct.
Sure.
So having a good team is paramount. And thank goodness I had a good teammate.
She's a good one too.
She's a good one.
Me and her love those collard greens.
Yeah.
So,
She's talking about them already.
So I think that's a very valuable lesson for the listeners that are aspiring to be entrepreneurs here. That what Frederick is essentially describing is taking a loss in your life, like a job change or transition, and transition that into a positive win. Because deep down inside, you may have been ready for change anyway.
Correct.
So I really think, thanks for sharing that. Now, what about...
Let me say this real quick too. Now, if you have aspirations for entrepreneurship and you do have your W-2 job, that's fine. Try to incorporate time for that entrepreneur. Invest in yourself for your entrepreneurship, right? Just invest in yourself, learn what you need to learn. Do what you're doing on the side. You get off work, go straight to that. It's time. I've seen a lot of single mothers though still handle that transition. They're still taking care of the kids, going to work, and then pursuing their dream of entrepreneurship. So you make time for the things that you find valuable and that you want to do something. There's something else you want to do, right? And so do that. Do that until you're ready to just cut the ties on the W-2. Now, as we know, W-2 versus self-employed are two different animals, right? So it's learn the process. Learn the process. Learn as much as you can about starting a business, right? Like getting that tax strategist first, learning, getting mentoring. Find a mentor. Oh my God, yes. Find a mentor. That a business mentor that can guide you.
Did you have a mentor?
I did not. I bumped my head quite a bit. I was just fed up to the point I'm doing this regardless. And you know what? I did it, and I found out what I needed to know along the way. I don't suggest that for everyone. Absolutely not. But definitely find a mentor in business. I watch you though.
Interesting.
I watch you, and that helps me.
That
as well.
organization you mentioned. at the beginning of the
Yes.
show.
They have a lot of
like
valuable
partnership.
information. Yes, they're all about democracy and housing and helping minorities build wealth, and that's what it's all about. So they have a lot of educational formats and podcasts, and they're just putting out a lot of information. And all you have to do is tap into it, you know. So before you say no, I can't, first say maybe I can, and go and do it, and get what you need to be able to be who you want to be in your spirit.
Love it. Let me ask you this question. So you're a very successful guy, Frederick. You own multiple properties. You had a successful corporate career. You are now your own boss.
Yeah.
You've achieved that. What does success look like to you? Like, when can you go back and say, hey, I accomplished something? What's the end game to you at this point?
You know, Doug, success for me actually is none of those things you just mentioned. What it is being a good husband to my wife, being a good father to my son, and most importantly, being a servant of God, because that's who I serve. And as long as I'm doing that, that to me is the definition of success for me.
Frederick, you're a very wonderful person. It's great to hear that. And I think, turning to my Twist of Fate listeners, in my final comments here, I think that's something that we all need to ask ourselves this question, is what does the end game look like for you? Because, you know, it's not the money, it's not the house, it's not going to be any of these things that are going to really make you happy. It's up to you to define what that bar of success is like for you. Now, Frederick, great sitting down chatting with you.
No
so
doubt.
if any of my listeners are interested in real estate property in Bay Area, how would they get in contact with you?
All they have to do is go outside, burn some bushes, put a blanket over it, put up the smoke signals. That's it. That's all you got to do. No, but even better.
That can get you in trouble, though.
We can't burn anymore. So, good old California. So just, look me up on Facebook, at Real Estate Adams, on Instagram. I'm out there. I'm easy to find. Go to Google, search Frederick Adams Real Estate. I'm right there.
And for financial planning, same thing?
Same thing.
Or I'm sorry, insurance.
Insurance,
Correct.
life
Gotcha.
insurance.
Yeah.
And let me say this too. As an entrepreneur, you want to take care of your health. Take care of your health, because you're no good to anybody if you're unable to operate. I have a friend who worked himself to the point where he's in dialysis. And I know he won't mind me saying this because I'm not saying his name. But he is now in dialysis and he knows it because he worked too much. Find a work-life balance. That's success as well. Finding a work-life balance, because you absolutely must spend time with your family. As I told you, it was like, when are you and Nikki taking a trip on your own and just, you know.
Not all of us can live the life like you, Frederick. I'm just saying, I see you and your wife in the greatest of locales. But I can tell you that goes back to this discussion. I think deep down inside, you're already happy.
I am.
You've already succeeded.
Exactly.
And I think it's an important gear shift that can probably keep people out of working themselves to death.
Absolutely.
Because I think both of us love what we do.
Yep.
So it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
And I think that's what you guys need to look for, is like when you can find the career or path that you can be most passionate about.
That's it. Passion.
Yeah.
Must have a passion. If you have a passion and a love for it, it won't seem like work, but you will try to pour all of your energies into it when you have to take a break. You know, you have to take a break just to get recreative again, right? To bring back the creative juices. Sometimes you run right into a wall, right?
I do that quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, you run right into a wall. It's like, what am I doing? Okay, what was I doing? You know, so you got to take a time out. Take a time out. You know, even if you do, we live in a great state where you can just, a few hours drive, you're in a different place and it's like a different locale. You don't even feel like you're in the state, whatever. And you can just recharge, you know, turn the phone off, recharge. Always take time to recharge.
On that note, I want all of the listeners to take some time and recharge. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Twist of Fate. Frederick, thanks for coming.
Thank you, Doug.
You know, please subscribe, like, share. If you like this content, Twist of Fate, we're here to help you find inspiration, one, for financial planning, life insurance, home ownership, and all the vehicles that can make this journey worth it, not just for you, but for your family and for your future. So with that, have a good one.
Twist of Fate is hosted by Doug Younger. It's produced by John Lundvid and Matthew Brown at Ezo Creative. Moni Yu designs our graphics, and Enrique Pimentel manages our digital life. Our theme music is by Jamie Bathgate. Special thanks to all of our patrons. You can support the show by visiting patreon.com/twistoffate podcast. Thanks for listening.